الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت بيده الخير وهو على كل شيء قدير لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك ربي وأتوب إليك إنك أنت التواب الرحيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم Allah, we seek your forgiveness and we seek refuge in you, and we seek your support and aid, and that you strengthen us in our faith and in our daily affairs, for there is no real refuge except in you. Every day that a Muslim wakes up, they start the day, or at least they should start the day with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, by the name of God, the all-gracious, the all-merciful. And in uttering the statement, they remind themselves and renew their faith as a Muslim. And every day that you renew and reclaim your faith as a Muslim is a new day and a new moment and a new opportunity to learn and relearn and to remember and to re-remember what Islam is and what it should be. The day that a human being in any matter of faith says, I know, or becomes complacent with their testament of faith, when they become passive towards their testament of faith, they really become an ignorant person. In other words, they become unknowing. When you feel that arrogant sense of repose, that you know what the vastness of what submission to God is, or what Islam is also the day that you have grown complacent and you have become the opposite of knowing. All we can seek, all we can hope for as Muslims is to be seekers in the way of knowing how to submit to Allah, to submit to God, and how to be Muslims. This is why among the prayers that Allah reminds us of, or among the many supplications repeated in the Quran, is the verse that I'm sure all of you have heard or read at some point. الذين آمنوا ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم أولئك لهم الأمن وهم مهتدون. Those who have iman, those who have belief, those who are believers, but at the same time ولم يلبسوا إيمانهم بظلم, that this faith in no way has led them or been intermixed with injustice. Now, I'm aware that there is a transmission of hadith that says the word zulm here, the word injustice here, means shirk or associating partners with God, but that's a complicated matter of tafsir, of interpreting the Quran. And what I am arguing to you is that the word zulm here is not simply shirk or associating partners with God, or it is, as some scholars have said, it is associating partners with God in the broadest sense of the word. Those who have not allowed their faith, allowed their iman, allowed their belief to lead them into injustice, or to be intermixed with injustice, intermingled with injustice. And those are لهم الأمن. Those are the ones who are truly with a sense of tranquility and repose. Those are who have gained what Iman provides for a believer, that sense of tranquility, peacefulness, and repose, and those who are the truly guided. Then that's the end of the verse. How does faith, how does Iman become a cover, or become intermixed and interfused with injustice? Here we go back to what a Muslim is about. We all translate in a translation that is inadequate in the best sense, or inadequate in the worst sense, that Islam is submission to God. But it is not just submission. It is not simply an act of submission. It's not simply an act of humility. But it is beyond that. Islam is finding peace and repose in God. Islam is being in a state of tranquility and balance in God. How could that be? Islam is remembering that everything we live in has an owner. Everything that exists around us already has an owner. Islam is remembering that even this body has an owner. Even your time, the time that you expend, has an owner. And that owner, which is God, has already a claim of right in all that is around you. That the arrogance of saying, this is me, this is my body, this is my time, this is my money, this is my property, is immediately challenged by the very idea of Islam, or by the very act of submission. But beyond that, as the Prophet ﷺ says, that creation is as if God's family, and God loves those who are most merciful towards God's creation. That, in a sense, what the Prophet ﷺ is articulating, and this is articulated in a million different ways in the Quran and in the Sunnah, is that already all human beings do not need to have a certificate of worthiness or a certificate of entitlement to dignity or a Bill of Rights. They are already there's already a claim over all humanity, and that is they are created by God, belong to God, and if you want to please God, you can directly pray to God, but a no less important means is that you materially and actively show your understanding of what that state of submission is, your understanding that through kindness to what God owns, you worship God. One of my teachers used to put it this way: a person who has not submitted to God drives down a road and will see a pothole in the road, and that pothole is dangerous to other human beings. A person who has not submitted to God will look at the pothole and say, I am who I am, my time is my time, my car is my car, my road belongs not to me, and whoever falls in that pothole and hurts themselves is their problem. When you are a Muslim, there is no such thing such as their problem. It becomes your problem. Because your car is a blessing from God, your body is a blessing from God, your health is a blessing from God, the road you drive in is a road that belongs to God, and that pothole, when it hurts other human beings, hurts what God has created, and therefore it offends God. And so you, as a Muslim, don't have a choice if you want to do the true act of submission. A true act of submission is that you stop the car and you prevent the harm. And failure to prevent the harm, the failure to attempt to warn people or fill up the pothole or do something to avoid harm to other beings, is a failure of submission. You can take that example in a million different directions. And that is why we all grow up learning that a true Muslim does not go to sleep satiated if their neighbor is hungry. That comes from the same basic idea. I'm sure you've all heard this at some point or another, that a true Muslim will not simply allow their neighbor to go hungry. A true Muslim will not allow themselves to exist in a state of narcissism or a state of self-centeredness and oblivious to what goes on around them, because a true Muslim knows that the minute you say my life is about me and I owe nobody nothing, you have started mixing your iman with dhulm. You have started to mix your iman with injustice. Now, there is a further thing. Among the greatest offenses that, and in fact the greatest offense, and often in the Quran equated with shirk, equated with associating partners with God, is the state or the moral failure of injustice, or the opposite of justice. And the first step in becoming in achieving true submission to Allah, in achieving true submission to God, in achieving the state of true iman, is, and the Quranic verse that actually recited just is another way of emphasizing this, is to immediately start reflecting on what is, or what are the constituent elements of justice. If you are a Muslim, excuse me, if you are a Muslim and in a state of submission to God, then you are aware that this God, who has created everything, who is the possessor not just of material things, but also unseen things, non-material things like time, who has, and that this God has made creation subject to a balance of rights and duties, a balance of intricate laws that we call the laws of nature. But that what science does is basically discover in increments more and more of these intricate laws of nature that create the balance of God's justice, the set of complexities that allows a human being to exist in a planet that retains water, that is protected by an atmosphere, that has the following properties. And the sum total of these complex factors is that the state of balance, the state of justice, allows a human being to exist and to grow. Once you start playing around and corrupting this balance, what happens, we all experience and see this, we start breaking down the intricate laws of creation. So we start creating an imbalance, we start having pollution, we start having holes in the ozone, we start having people become ill, we start developing the various physical and spiritual ailments that humanity does develop. An intricate and fundamental part of being in a state of submission to God, you will never fully know what the implications of that state of justice are, but you can reflect on it, and to make it an active face, to reflect upon it in a renewed and re-energized fashion. If you could every minute, I would say that. But as often as you can, every hour, every day. It's a new Islamic year. There's a whole Islamic discourse about renewing your resolution to reflect upon the mizan, the balance every new year. I don't follow that school because I think once a year is hardly sufficient. But the point is to understand that in the same way that there are an intricate balance sustains physical existence, there is an intricate balance that sustains human spiritual existence. So for instance, to understand that human beings are not born aspiring to happiness. They are created by God with a right to happiness. They don't aspire to be free, but they are created by God entitled to be free. And to understand that this true state of submission cannot occur and cannot ideally grow in a human being unless in a society that is aware of the basic laws by which God created nature and society, such as the laws of no compulsion, no duress, no harm, no suffering, is very much a part of the act of submission. بسم الله والحمد لله والله أكبر وسبحان الله والصلاة والسلام على محمد خاتم النبيين. What does the Quran teach us is the most essential and basic law, social law, that understanding of which, or let's take the opposite of it and say that if you fail to understand it, I would argue it becomes impossible to achieve submission. Repeated a million times in the Quran in different ways, لا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى. No person or nothing should be made to suffer for the sin of another. All of you intuitively know this as Muslims. The minute you say, oh yes, that's right. Each is responsible for their actions and nothing but their own actions, and it is fundamentally unfair for me as a human being to be made to suffer for the sins of others. And the state of the opposite is also true, that no one suffers for the sin of another, and no one can take responsibility for another. So no one can come in and say, well, God, don't worry about it, I'll carry your sins for you. You are, as an autonomous human being, fully accountable for your decisions and your actions, and for the degree to which you achieved submission to Allah, and the degree to which that submission has been intermingled with degrees of injustice that لبس الإيمان بالظلم. And that is why Allah tells us, that is why God reminds us that if to the extent or in proportion that you can cleanse your iman, your belief, your submission to God, cleanse it of that state of injustice, the state of ignorance, in proportion to that, you will have, again, a very intuitive conclusion. You will have this state of peacefulness, repose, tranquility. You will exist in society, in a just society, in a just order. Because the more you allow your society, or allow yourself to exist in society in which people are punished without sin, or not for their own fault but the faults of others, in which people gain entitlements, positions because they know someone, not because they are good and they're hardworking, but because they have a good connection, or in a society in which people don't work according to the law set, but because they can give bribes, in which the rich can oppress and take away the rights of the poor, in which there is coercion and there is oppression, a society in which the only opinion that matters is the opinion of the ruler or those who serve the rulers, in which family you belong to or how close you are to a ruler matters much more than who you are as a human being. As long as, to the extent, in proportion to existing in such society, there will never be amn, there will never be peace, there will never be repose, and there will never be the state of tranquility that God promises us if we achieve true submission. I'll end with this. When the Prophet ﷺ told us that I have come to perfect ethics. It is not a part of perfecting ethics, the length of your beard or the particular fashion that you wear. This is the superficial of the superficial. Ethics and perfection of ethics is far more than that. Your faith has emphasized justice, that even the Prophet ﷺ said that if you borrow money from someone, not intending to pay that person back when you borrowed the money, if you borrow money from someone while intending not to pay back when you borrowed the money, you have committed theft. فإنها سرقة. اللهم اعف عنا اللهم اغفر لنا اللهم اهدنا اللهم اهدنا لأقرب من هذا رشدا اللهم اهد المسلمين واصلح حالهم اللهم انصر الإسلام وأعز المسلمين يا رب ارفع بفضل كلمة الحق والدين. God, forgive us our sins, guide us towards the truth, help us be more just, help us achieve a more perfect submission, and help us be closer to you and enjoy the tranquility that comes from life in your beauty and in your tranquility. Ya Allah. And أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Straighten your lines and clear your thoughts and your consciousness and pray as if this is the last prayer in your life in full dedication and commitment to God. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله حميدا. الله أكبر. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات السطع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالهزل إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا. الله أكبر. صلى الله عليه الله الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just would like to thank our Khatib, Dr. Khaled, for this beautiful khutbah. Jazakumullah khair. And also I would like to welcome Dr. John and his students from Pepperdine University. Inshallah. Brothers and sisters, the Sunday program is as usual. We're going to start with breakfast, inshallah, 10 o'clock. Please come and join us. And at 10:30, the parenting circle will start. And at 11:15, we will have highlights of the Quran. And 12th lecture of the day by Dr. Yasser Hathout. And the topic is the Quran and the science. This is the flyer. You can find it at the front desk, inshallah. And then also we have beautiful class starting this Sunday. It is titled Towards an Enriched Marriage, Understanding Ourselves and Our Spouses. This is going to be a 4-week interactive seminar for couples. It's not too late, you can still register inshallah, starting this Sunday at 9:30 a.m. at the lecture hall. And this is the flyer, you can find it at the front desk inshallah. And as again, always we need your help for the food pantry every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We try to feed around 200 homeless people, so we need help and volunteers, please come and join us, inshallah. And let us pray for those who are sick and in need of dua. هارون حاجي حسين حتان واحدي نغات بات مجيب الحق. اللهم اذهب البأس رب الناس اشفي أنت الشافي اشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك. Oh Allah, please give them quick recovery. And also let us pray for those who passed away. Habib Balkhi, Hassanur Haq, Ravsharara Chowdhury, Firuza Haq, Prometa Rahman, Amina Prepich, Hasija Turan, Nadzat Hasij, and Kamija Girvan. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وأكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقهم من الخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. اللهم ادخلهم الجنة اللهم ادخلهم الجنة وأعذهم من عذاب النار. آمين. الفاتحة. Alright, also one of the brothers is requesting Muhammad Ishaq is very sick. Please keep him in your prayer, inshallah. Amen.